Welcome to AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today, the podcast where we delve into the groundbreaking world of artificial intelligence. I'm Maurie, and with me is my husband, Jim. With our combined expertise in technology and education, we're here to guide you through the AI revolution. Whether it's the latest news headlines or transformative AI applications in classrooms, healthcare, and beyond, we're here to make sense of it all. Together, let's uncover how AI is reshaping our world from everyday encounters to the future of work. So let's dive in and explore tomorrow's tech today. Hello, this is Maurie, and I'm here with my husband, Jim. We are AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today. You might hear Sadie or Maggie in the background, so excuse that if you hear our dogs playing or barking at each other. So we are going to talk just a little bit about just some of the latest things that are happening with AI, some of the hot topics, and even one of the little weird things that has happened with AI. I want to start with a grant that a 21-year-old computer science student did. He actually won a global contest because he has decided to use an AI algorithm to read the first text inside of a carbonized scroll. Yes, I said scroll.
That looks like a piece of charcoal.
It looks like a piece of charcoal. It's from an ancient Roman city.
That was buried at the same time Pompeii was.
Yes.
By the same volcanic eruption, apparently.
AD 79.
It's been a while.
And he is using AI. He's from the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. He developed a machine learning algorithm that actually has started detecting Greek letters on lines that are inside of this rolled up scroll. The first one he detected
was porphyros.
I have no idea, but
purple.
It translated to purple.
It did.
So it's just really cool that, they're using AI to uncover the possibility of just, maybe it was a love letter or something. Who knows what it was? But the fact that they're using AI to be able to decipher something that looks like a piece of charcoal is pretty amazing.
Maybe it was somebody's recipe book.
Maybe.
It literally looks like a piece of charcoal that you would put on your barbecue pit. But I think it's really interesting. This is the kind of stuff that I really like seeing them using AI for, and machine learning in general, but the fact that you can do something that everybody had pretty much deemed impossible to do with the right tools and programming the right neural nets or using the right AI is just fascinating to me. That's why I put it in there. I know it's kind of a little weird.
It's weird, which is one of the things we like to kind of cover.
I really, really thought it was cool.
Well, something that I think is interesting is that they actually talked about how, it's really exciting because in the past, what they've done is that things have been flat. If you had things that were not charcoaled and burned and they were able to flatten them, that it was a lot easier for them to, decipher what it says.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to use like CAT scans and all these other methods to virtually unwrap these thin layers of this rolled up charred scroll. But now with artificial intelligence,
X-ray computed tomography scans.
Yes. But now AI is helping them decipher it. And
it is.
The article was in nature.com, and it's AI reads text from ancient Herculaneum scroll for the first time. It's a really interesting article. And it even has pictures of the different things that it's seen inside of this scroll.
Okay. Is this when you say it's all Greek to me? Was that bad?
That did look a little Greek.
It is Greek, actually.
Yeah, it is Greek. So, okay. The other thing that we really wanted to talk about is some of the things that have been happening with artificial intelligence. As we all know, Jim is still obsessed with it. He still gets up every single day and hits the news feeds, and he utilizes all these different tools. And some of the tools have made some changes recently, one of which was extremely exciting, that ChatGPT, which is OpenAI's tool, has enabled vision to where you take a picture.
That's phenomenal. It works.
And we have been playing with this.
Okay, the coolest one we did was when you took a picture of a 16-foot wide whiteboard.
Yes.
and which to get a
I don't think
perspective.
that was the coolest one. That was
No,
the coolest one
that
to
was
you.
coolest one because it's you were standing so far away from it to get the whole board, and we took a picture of it, and it identified everything in the room, but it literally knew the handwriting. It read the handwriting. She had written y equal mx plus b on the board, linear equation. It correctly not only got the letters, but it knew that it was an equation.
Well, what was really funny is that it not only looked at the board, it looked at everything around the board. And there was like a flag that was up at, hanging from the ceiling or hanging from the wall above the board. There was um,
Her name was on the
her
board.
name was on the board. There was some information like looked like a calendar or schedule that was taped to the wall next to it. And so it immediately came back and said, "It looks like you're in a classroom. Due to what's on the board, it guessed it was a junior high classroom,
Math
a
classroom.
math classroom, what they were studying at the time." I liked it when I took a picture of my living area and asked it to do some redecorating ideas for
Well,
me.
first it described your style of
Yes, it
decorating.
did,
This
which is old.
well, we live in a
Well,
110-year-old
it's
house, but
old. I almost said a cuss word. It's old a house.
yeah.
It's an
Well,
old
that's not what
house.
it said though. But it said, it
Ah,
described all the furniture, described the drapes, it described it, and then it said based on that, it's probably this style.
yes.
And then you started asking it for suggestions
What can I
on
do to
how.
brighten it up? What can I do? It's a
Yeah,
small space in my living
that
area.
was
What
pretty
can I?
cool.
It was very cool. We also used it to take a picture of some soup we were having that
It
night.
did.
And we took a picture of the soup, and you asked it, if it could tell you what this was and possibly give you a recipe. And it was
It
pretty
was pretty
darn
close. I
close.
just stood over the table and snapped a picture of a bowl of soup, and it said, "This is probably a tomato-based soup, and it's got da 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 in it." And
Hearty, like some meat in it and
yeah,
maybe
and
some potatoes.
it
And
was
it,
good.
it was it was very, very
That
close.
vision capability, of course, I'm wondering now because GPT-4, even though I have the premium paid version, it's been sluggish lately, and I
Yeah,
got to wonder if
everyone's
there's a
on it.
gazillion people out
Ever.
there
It's like,
because
when it
Dolly's
first
in there.
came
I
out,
got Dolly now
well, when it
too,
first came out and everyone was asking all these silly questions and, there was all these
and then they
people on
kind of
it
faded
and they
out.
faded out because they weren't
They got
now
bored.
they're like, "Oh, I can upload this photo and let's look and see what
It's
it
going to
says
take
this
longer to
is."
get bored.
And they're going to get bored with it eventually.
It's going to
Eventually it
take a
won't be as
while
sluggish.
because it's
But
so many.
the other thing is I drew a sketch on a whiteboard of what I wanted a user interface to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I want, I drew the like almost like a block
It was a
diagram.
block diagram.
It was a block diagram of what I wanted a user interface to look like on a website.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, take this. Can you give me the HTML code for me to do this web page?
Mm-hmm.
And it did.
It did, and it kind of you dummied out the code. Like you click on this, it didn't do anything, but you knew that it was registering the clicks and stuff. So it was ready to be functional, kind of thing.
If anyone who knows HTML code
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to take the time to have to do every single little bitty section of the
Right.
screen, it would be a huge time saver to get them started.
Okay. They also add, of course, people said they added Bing Chat back, which means you are Bing Bat, not Bing Chat, but which means you can surf the web. But I never really found that to be that cool. But however, I just got access now because they're giving this to people kind of in stages. Not everybody gets it at once. And they added Dolly.
I
And
haven't played with that one yet.
so Jared and I, our youngest, decided to play with that, and he did. He always has these weird things. Show me a picture of a mountain with pandas eating bamboo on the side of the mountain in a forest. Just this weird things. I don't know where he comes up with that stuff, but it was really good. I mean, it gives you 4 pictures. I don't think you need to play with it because you use Midjourney a lot. I don't think you can optimize the image, like select an image and then optimize the image to the degree you can
Like do
do in Midjourney.
variations of the image.
I think when you do a variation, it kind of redoes the image, so it may not look
Starts
the
from
same.
scratch.
It I kind of got the impression it did. I haven't played with it enough, and I didn't play with Midjourney that much either. That was you, so
Well, the one thing about Midjourney that got me as an older
you
person,
don't like Discord.
well, it's not that I don't like a Discord. I'm not accustomed to Discord.
I
I mean,
don't.
somebody who's a gamer who's on Discord all the time, I could see how Midjourney is just right up their alley. They love it.
See, I just don't think it's a great interface for Midjourney. I think Discord is a great thing for what the gamers and all them do with it. That's great. I just don't see it as a great user interface when you're trying to do images and
I
stuff
kind of
because it keeps
disagree.
scrolling up the screen. You have to
Well,
find it.
but after you realize where you need to go and what you need to look for, the scrolling isn't that big of a deal. Because it has it highlighted where you're at. The reason I liked have started to like Discord for
Because
Midjourney,
you like to see everybody
I
else's
like to
stuff.
see what everybody else is doing.
I know you do.
And not just do I like to see what everybody else is doing, but steal that stuff. I mean, if I see something that somebody else is doing,
Can
if
drop it
they've
in.
got it on Discord, I can click on their image and then vary their image myself and then use their image for something.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
maybe if you get used to,
it's
I
like a
just
big
am not a
huge
fan. But then
artist
again,
community.
I'm not very artistic either, so maybe
I
that's why I don't
well,
care for it. But
I really I've gotten to where I
I,
enjoy it. I will get on. I will play with the Dolly thing that's on Chat GPT
you
now.
should.
I will, and I'll let you know. Maybe next time we're on here, I'll let
Yeah,
you know what's
yeah.
going on with
See,
that.
if you'll go click on it right now, you can look at it right now,
Well,
live on your podcast. You
that's
can't show
okay.
it to anybody, but you can look.
I'm
See, there it
fine.
is, right there. There's Dolly, right there. You can just click on that. You got it. You can ask it questions. So while we're talking, you can have it start generating
Okay,
something.
all
Oh,
right. Well, you keep talking about the next thing that they've come out
I've
with.
been playing a lot with the different development tools, and I use ChatGPT 4.0 is still the best at writing code. I've used Bard, I've used Claude, I've used all these different tools. There's one called Cursor IO that I'd heard about, and it's got some free version but paid for. I started playing with it, and I got to say they did a really nice job. They forked the Visual Studio Code, which I know you don't code, but Visual Studio Code is kind of the standard as I understand it for most coders nowadays. I use it, I like it, and they forked that code tree and they built AI into it because I already have GitHub, I already have the side chat in the when I use a Visual Studio Code and I like it, but it's not well integrated. But this cursor, I was impressed. I mean, you can do some things in it that really give AI. It's since it's tighter integrated, you can do a great job with it. The problem is that I was afraid that it was not going to be because it's a fork of Visual Studio Code and Microsoft's Visual Studio Code. They just weren't going to last. But then I saw this article which you just pulled up. AnySphere apparently is the name of the company. They raised $8 million from OpenAI to build AI powered integrated development environment or IDE. So Cursor basically just got an investment, which makes a lot of sense.
And they got an investment from
OpenAI.
OpenAI.
Well, OpenAI is also very interested in getting developers happy. People they always seem to know they really seem to focus on their developers, which people like Microsoft used to do a really good job of. I don't know that they still do as good a job. When I used to write code for a living, Microsoft was really, really into developers. But these guys always just seem to be ahead of it. Now they're talking about how they're going to lower the cost. Because one of the problems of using, like I can use Cursor now, the free version, or it's $20 a month, but I only get so many questions, for lack of a better term, before I run out of tokens. You only get so many
So
per
you're
month.
limited on what you can
You
do.
are limited, and since GPT-4 is so much better at writing code, you really want to use GPT-4. So I can put my own key in it, my own AI key in it, OpenAI key, which is great because then I use my own tokens and I don't have to pay $20 a month. But you can run up some bills in a hurry because GPT-4 is not cheap.
Hmm.
It's really good, and I'm not saying it's not worth it. But now they're talking about, along with this investment, they announced that they're going to start making things cheaper for developers. And I think one of the things I think this is part of that investment process. I think that Cursor AI is going to kind of become the de facto standard for OpenAI's developers. You're going to get a lower cost access to so maybe instead of 50 or 100, requests a month or whatever, I get 1,000 for the same price, and I still get to use GPT-4.
Well,
It's a good strategy.
it's a very good strategy because if you have somebody who's actually developing things that use your product,
Exactly.
then it's going to keep you in the market a lot longer.
Well, everybody used to say the same thing to Microsoft too. Make it cheaper for your developers because they're kind of your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Don't charge so much for your tools. And Microsoft, in their defense, has done a good job over the years, like Visual Studio Code. But when I used to be a developer for them, it seems like there was always we had to buy access to their MSDN libraries at the time and things like that, and it just seemed expensive over time. It got more expensive, and so it was a little discouraging. So anyway, I think that my point is that it looks like OpenAI is on a good track to keep their developers happy by making things less expensive for the developers to develop tool. If you build a product maybe that's exclusively OpenAI, because I could also use Palm 2 or something like that as my back end, but for the tool that I'm building,
Mm-hmm.
but OpenAI doesn't want that. Anyway,
The other
I
thing
digress.
the other thing I've noticed you using a lot, if you want to click on another article,
No, I
you
just
can.
want you to pull up and see how
Oh,
your
see
dolly
what my
thing's
dolly
doing.
thing did?
See, isn't that cool?
Oh, it is kind of
Isn't
cute.
that
Okay, so
nice?
I said I went to Chat GPT and I pulled the plugin for Dolly 3, and I said generate an image of a puppy that is playing ball outside with a young child,
That's pretty good.
and
That's good.
it did cartoon version, non-cartoon version,
Kind of a half and half.
a half and half. It actually is
So
really
which one do you
cute.
like? There's a little boy and a little puppy and a ball
And
going through a
that's the one I
yard.
like the most. They're
And then
chasing
I
the
think the
ball.
little girl in that really flowery garden with the
Yeah.
Dalmatian puppy jumping
Yeah.
after, I think that one's
Okay,
adorable.
so okay,
I told you it's
but you
pretty
see,
good.
but I'm not seeing anybody else's art. So I
I,
don't know. I'll play with it for things that are very specific, but I like watching what
you
everybody
like
else is
being in the
doing. I
community?
like being in the community.
That's what Discord's
I've
about.
kind of gotten
So
used to it.
maybe
Kind of gotten used
that's
to doing thumbs up for other people's weird stuff or
maybe
whatever.
that's the whole point
So
of doing it that
okay, the
way.
other thing that I've noticed that you're doing a lot, and then we're only going to do about 20, 25 minutes tonight, but the other thing I've noticed that you're doing a lot is you're talking to your phone.
I do actually like that
A lot.
features that they put when they added the talking feature in to where you can talk to it. And then I've got the voice number 3 pick that I really like her voice. It's a great voice, but you can talk to
I'm a little
your.
jealous, actually.
It gives me my little headphones right here,
Hmm.
and when you click on your little headphones,
So we're on the phone app.
and it puts a little bouncing ball back and forth, and it says connecting, and you say, "Tell me something about what you like about puppies."
And then it goes off and looks at stuff.
Connecting. Puppies. I don't have emotions like humans, but I do understand why many people love them. Puppies are often
See?
seen as adorable, playful, and they can bring a lot of joy and comfort to those around them. Their innocent nature and
So
curiosity.
I walk into the kitchen and I hear this other person talking, and it's like, what?
And this
What
great
is that?
female
and it's
voice.
This great female voice. I think I'm gonna have to put one on my phone that has a male voice.
There's like
just to,
most of them are male voices. There's like 4 male voices, I think, and 1 or 2 female voices that you can choose from.
But all it is Chat GPT, and basically
It
it's
is.
just reading what it would normally put on your screen.
That's correct.
Now, does it have voice capabilities on anything other than the phone app?
I don't think so. You can go back over to ChatGPT, but I don't think that voice capability.
Like, can you put in,
open up a new chat? I don't think
chat?
so, because I don't think you have the option if you, because see, it's on your default. Like right now, you're set on go to default. No, under there, right there, go to default.
Mm-hmm.
See, it just gives you the image thing. But if you look at it, I think it's just on the phone app. Because if you look at it on the phone app, you don't just have the image choice, you also have
the
headset at the top. So I don't think they've added it. See, there's 2 or 3. You can do pictures, you can upload a picture, you can take one with your camera directly.
Oh, so I don't even have to upload a photo to my computer that input it. So basically the
phone
phone
and you'll
app,
see it come up there.
Yeah, but basically the phone app
Becomes
is
your camera.
a little more user friendly.
Well, depending on what you're going to do. I mean, I like using, because like I can upload an image here.
Right, but I have to have it saved somewhere.
Yes. You know what I would love to have? If of course it's not ready for that yet, but if you think if you're a teacher and you just wrote a bunch of stuff on the board, wouldn't it be cool to just take a picture of that with with like a camera that's already set up looking at your board, and then have it translate all the text on the board into, something that's stored in their Google Drive or something? So it would be like having your own sort of smart board.
It's great for kids who are absent.
Yeah, I know. But unfortunately, this isn't available to everyone yet. I suspect it will be. I mean, obviously, they plan on rolling this out bigger. That's another thing I heard they're about to add. They're going to add it to the API. Because right now, the Vision, they're calling it GPT Vision, is what everybody's calling it.
Right.
The Vision isn't on their API yet, but that's one of the things it just announced. They're going to have that available through the API. So when you combine the voice capability, you combine the fact that it's multimodal with all the image capabilities, and now they just supposedly changed their they had a set of rules or whatever they called it that they were kind of following that, and they were saying they weren't going to work on AGI, which is basically artificial general intelligence, the thing that everybody keeps getting afraid of because it's going to get too smart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're talking about working on that now because they want to make a really good assistant. Well, they've added vision,
Mm-hmm.
they've added voice. Now they're talking about making it smarter because, like when I was talking about earlier about using the tools for developing, the tools right now still feel clunky. They
Right.
don't integrate well. The Cursor AI does a great job compared to just using Visual Studio Code with the GitHub plugin, which is what I do all the time, or the GitHub extension. And it works great, but it's still not as smooth as the Cursor AI. And it's still clunky in some ways. So I can see now that they're investing, that they're probably going to make that better. So now you have all these capabilities all rolled up into one. Well, what do you do with that? Well, as part of their latest announcements, they're talking about agents and things. I mean, even the stuff that I'm working on right now, when I'm redoing Agnes, I'm talking about thinking of Agnes as a core agent that then launches other
Now,
agents to
for
do
people
things.
who don't know what Agnes is a appliance style, or
Right now, it's
it's
just a
it's
cloud-based
it's a
service that we created
for
for our
schools.
school. Well, it's for we started it for our school.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we might see it in other
We
schools,
will see it in other schools.
but when you think about it, I'd like to redo the core of Agnes from what it is now to more like a virtual assistant, and the agent concept that they're working on is a great. I think it's a mistake for anyone who's doing a product right now that's going to compete with something that these guys can come take away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're just making a regular old chatbot like we have at the school right now, they're going to come up with something that makes it even better, and you're going to lose your whole market overnight.
Right.
But if you're tuning it, sort of like when we had a point of sale system a
Customization.
long time ago, and you brought it in and you had to tune it for our restaurant. Point of sale systems have been on sale for a long time,
Right. There's
but
lots of them
you
still out
can't
there.
go out and find a general point of sale system that fits in your particular
Right. If I purchase one
location
for a coffee shop, then I have to customize it for my coffee
for
shop
your
menu.
coffee shop. So even if you buy it just for your market, you still have to customize it, which
Right.
is what you did, and you
Right.
spent many evenings doing it.
Right.
I think the same thing. They're coming out with these great tools and these great frameworks and environments. But at the end of the day, people like us that are in education that know how to tune it for our particular environment, I think it adds a lot of value for us and it adds value for them. So it's a better partnership than just having a generic chatbot. And that's kind of the perspective I've taken on this all along. It's just these developments they're doing. It seems a very clear path toward that idea. Now, whether or not, OpenAI compete with Microsoft and Google and others, I think that remains to be seen. If I had that kind of crystal ball, we'd be a whole lot richer than we are.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
anyway, I was pretty excited about the week.
We're going to switch over real quick to education.
Okay.
Okay. Just like the last 5 minutes of the podcast. We sat down with several teachers this last week now.
We did.
I'm excited. We are going to be going to the science. Well, first we're going to the System Admin Conference, the TCEA System
In
Admin
Austin.
Conference in Austin, and we're speaking at that conference.
We are.
And then we're going to CAST 2023, which is the science conference
for the state of
Texas in
and
Houston.
We're one of the featured speakers.
And we're featured speakers at the science conference about artificial intelligence.
That's right.
So, and your Tech Academy, just last week, Thursday, was your very first AI Academy specifically geared toward tech directors. And I think that went really well. And then the second class for the Academy is coming up this next week. But one of the things that we did is in between these academies, we've been going into classrooms and we've been talking to teachers that are, in the trenches.
Yes, they are
in the
front
classrooms.
lines. They are the front
and
lines.
What is AI doing to help you right now, and what would you like to see it do?
Yes.
So I was very impressed. I was very pleased at some of the things that teachers are utilizing AI for.
It's not just for
basic, not just seeing if kids are cheating, not just using it for lesson plans, not just using it for. They were using it for language translations.
Yes.
A lot of language translations. A science teacher was using it for helping with. We showed her how to maybe use it for helping with simulations.
Oh, what was really cool was she had that poster on the wall of the history of the development of something she does chemistry. And she had not seen the new
The
vision
pictures.
capability. I took a picture of it and I said, "Tell me what you see." It was a timeline of the history of science or chemistry,
Based off of a
and it
poster a student had
literally
done.
went through, and everything was handwritten.
Yes.
All the pictures were hand drawn. Everything was handwritten. It literally described the entire thing to her and gave her a timeline of the history that she had put up on the side on the
Right.
wall. She was pretty impressed. These were both, obviously, one was a chemistry teacher, one was a science teacher. We were in there talking to them because we're about to speak at a conference, and we wanted to make sure we kind of tuned our discussions toward science and math.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because they use it, but their focus is more heavily on non-science and math things, like you said, administrative things like translating. I got a lesson I just did, I got to translate it into Spanish, that kind of thing. So it was interesting, and I actually was happy to see that because that's what we focus on all the time is administrative overhead and saving time and all that other stuff. And you and I have explored different options of using these AIs for generating lessons, and it's good. It's not perfect yet. It's again one of those things that we're trying to improve with Agnes.
It is a tool.
It is
right
a tool.
Now, it is a good tool. I wish a lot
time.
more. I wish there was more teachers that would use it as a tool, which is what we're doing. We're evangelizing. We're getting out there, and we're trying to show them how easy it is. You don't have to go up a learning curve. You don't have to read a manual. You don't have to learn a piece of software.
Just start typing.
You just type in a question.
Ask questions.
And then if you don't like the answer, you type in another question. If you don't like the answer, you keep
just keep playing around with. We're teaching them prompting.
Doing your prompts.
Yes.
So anyway, we are almost out of time. I just wanted to kind of touch on that and let everyone know that we are going to be doing some speaking engagements.
We have a busy month.
We have a very busy month.
In the next 30 days, we have four more academies.
4 more academies, two speaking
conferences
engagements.
We're speaking at.
And our son is getting married.
Our oldest son is
getting married this coming weekend. So
yes.
We have a very busy schedule.
Yes.
So.
And I'm not seeing double anymore.
Yes.
So we're good.
Yes, you're not seeing double anymore.
All right.
So that is it for this episode of AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today. Thank you very much for listening. And we hope that you catch us again next time. And that brings us to the end of AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today. We're Maurie and Jim, your guides on this exciting journey through the world of artificial intelligence. We hope today's conversation has left you with fresh insights and a deeper understanding of how AI is shaping our future. If you enjoyed our discussion and want to stay up to date with the latest in AI, make sure to subscribe and share the podcast with your friends and colleagues. Remember, the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we can actively shape and influence with knowledge and action. So let's continue exploring, innovating, and taking action. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to sharing more exciting AI developments with you next time on AI in Action, Exploring Tomorrow's Tech Today.